Late last month, NIO launched their second generation NIO Phone at their annual NIO Innovation Day event. I got my hands on the new NIO Phone as well as the 2024 NIO ES6. So I spent the last couple of days testing the phone, the integration with the car, and some other aspects of the NIO user experience. In today's video, I will be looking at the NIO Phone, what I like and dislike about it, and how it has improved compared to the original NIO Phone. First thing I need to start with is the primary purpose of the NIO Phone, and that is its functionality and how it interacts with the car. After you have signed into your NIO account and you have linked the phone with the car, you can pretty much do anything at just the touch of a button, namely what NIO calls the Sky Key. On the recent Apple iPhones, this button is called the Action button. While the Sky Key can be customized to do other things, its default purpose and how you should probably use it is as the button to bring up all of your car controls. Anytime that you are outside of the car, pressing this button will bring up widgets with vital information, such as current battery state of charge and range. Clicking here will pull up the charging map. You also have a widget to open doors and windows or to toot the horn. You have a widget for climate controls. You have your parking location, including photos if you have the feature enabled, the ability to send a destination to your vehicle, to summon the vehicle, to autonomously park the car, to melt the snow from the windshield, turn on Guardian mode, aka Sentry mode, or to dehumidify the car. Once you have entered your car, the same button, the Sky Key, it understands that you need different controls and features. Now, with the same one touch, it pulls up your location information within the car by utilizing the ultra-wideband technology. On the first gen NIO Phone, you may remember that I had some problems with this. It mostly worked, it wasn't that bad, but it was kind of janky. In my testing this time, it worked flawlessly. If I pass the phone to the passenger seat or to the back seat, the phone switches over after just a second or two delay. The phone also controls even more within the car, such as fragrance control, sunroof, if your model has it like the ES6, and you can even turn on nap, meditation, do not disturb modes. I still wish I could also turn on camp mode and adjust the ambient lighting through the phone, or take a selfie with the car camera, or view real time inside my car if I have pet mode activated. Alas, those features are still not here, but I do believe and hope that these features will come with time. Another thing that I struggled with last year when using the first gen NIO Phone was utilizing the Neolink apps. It is super easy now. I did not encounter any problems at all. There are currently about 20 Neolink apps available from the NIO App Store, and they range from productivity to games. Neolink uses the entire center screen to display the apps that are installed on your phone. It works flawlessly from my experience. Here's WeChat as a Neolink, and here is a game called Dead Cells. I can't say that I like the idea of playing a cell phone game like this, but hey, whatever floats your boat. In addition to Neolink, you can also use Skyview, which mirrors your NIO Phone, so any apps that aren't already available with Neolink can still be used. What's great about this, and about the current iteration of the NIO Phone, is that it is just way more open than when it first launched. You may also remember the original NIO Phone launched without support for Google frameworks, meaning that using any Google apps on the phone was a pain in the butt. Now, however, it works great. All you have to do is download the APK and you are good to go. By using the Skyview, you can use any app, even ones like YouTube here. Pretty darn cool. Other things that just work are things like retrieving the dashcam footage. Your phone has an album with DVR recordings in the NIO cloud. Think iCloud again. So God forbid you get in a wreck, you don't need to dig in and around through your crumpled mess of a car looking for the SD card that's hidden away maybe in a glove compartment or a center console. All you need to do is grab your phone and download the recording to share with the police or insurance, etc. Same thing works for Sentry mode recordings. So that's all great stuff that goes on between the phone and the car, but what about the other stuff people buy phones for? Honestly, I'm not really a mobile games or hardcore power user of productivity apps on my phone. I mostly just use my phone for watching some videos, taking some pictures, browsing the web. So I really can't give you a really solid, thorough review here and compare it to other phones. But when it comes to the camera, which is already very impressive on last year's phone, I do think it is even better now. For one, they've added even more cool automatic car effects. I particularly like this one that mimics a slow shutter speed and a pan of a moving car. Only thing I gotta do is next time take a picture with somebody actually in the driver's seat so it looks a little bit more real. Last year's phone had car effects as well. It just had motion blur and color isolation, but this year's phone we have 2 additional car effects. We've also got other shooting scenarios that you can see here. Compared to last year's phone, there's quite a bit more. In terms of image quality, color accuracy, etc., I do think this is all pretty subjective, but I for one really still like the portrait mode and its very natural blur, as well as the strong separation of subject and background. Again, on my iPhone 13, which is of course a couple years old now, the portrait mode is a little bit soft around the edges, but here with the NIO Phone, it's really quite nice. The automatic skin smoothing and other kind of beautify features, they actually are quite natural as well, in my opinion, but you can turn them up and make them look however you really want, as crazy as you want to get it. In terms of shooting video, I think 4K HDR looks really nice. Unfortunately, the super steady mode is only available in 1080p, but even in 4K, the stabilization is already pretty good when shooting handheld. What else do people use phones for? Of course, YouTube. Mr. P here looks great. Screen quality, speakers, all very, very good. So what do I dislike about the phone? Honestly, there's not really a lot to dislike. The main thing that I struggle with is the hassle of getting the video and photos from my phone to my Mac. I guess this would be less of a problem with Windows PCs, but I don't have one to test it out. When I use Bluetooth to transfer videos and photos to my Mac, it is way slower than using AirDrop, but at least it works this year. Last year, it was kind of annoying. It didn't work very well. When I transfer files over a wired connection, it is fast, of course, but I need to download some sort of Mac Android file transfer software. It's pretty annoying. I just think this is, generally speaking, par for the course for using Android with Mac, I think, but again, don't quote me on that. One other thing that's an extremely minor nitpick is last year's NIO Phone came with a USB-C cord that matched the color of your particular NIO Phone. So last year I had a green phone, I had a green cord. Really nice attention to detail. This year with my red phone, I got a white cable. No big deal, but I just gotta point out what's changed and what's worse than last year. But those are really my only complaints about this phone so far. Last things last, the hardware. I really praised the first generation NIO Phone for how comfortable it was to hold. The round edges felt great. It made using the phone comfortable and it felt very secure in your hand. The Gen 2 NIO Phone is even better. It is slightly thinner. It's not really immediately noticeable, but the difference can be felt when you're holding them both back to back or side by side, one after the other. The build quality overall is still quite solid. Materials feel really, really nice. It's soft and smooth like butter on the back of the phone. The glass screen is really, really nice. Everything is good. The phone is really, in my opinion, a classy looking device. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm already kind of entrenched in the Apple ecosystem, I would definitely consider making this my primary phone, especially if I still owned a NIO. And I think that this is NIO's biggest challenge, convincing their users to migrate to a new mobile ecosystem if they aren't already with Android. If they are already Android users, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't switch to a NIO Phone when you're upgrading your phone from, say, Samsung or from Huawei or something like that. In my opinion, I think that with even better car integration, including with the sub-brands Onvo and with Firefly, as well as increased functionality, I can see the NIO Phone being a big success for NIO in the future. Even now, they've started selling on other marketplaces like Jingdong, not just through the NIO app, and they're targeting consumers who may not own a NIO. I do think this is the right strategy. They need to take on Huawei and Xiaomi and the rest of them head on. The NIO Phone is fast, it's ad-free, spam-free, it has really competitive specs, the OS is great, it's snappy, the user interface is really, really good, the icons, everything's very clear and clean and nice. The design language, of course, just like NIO cars, it's all very high class, high end. It feels good, it looks good, it makes you feel kind of proud, I would say, to be a NIO owner or to be a NIO user. From my perspective, here in China, I think most phone makers are going to be making cars, and most EV brands, most car makers are going to be making phones. Cars are becoming more and more tied to your consumer electronics, and in my opinion, it pays to be ahead of the curve, to be a leader and to not be a follower. It takes time, but I think with time, the public will resonate with the innovative companies and brands that push industries forward with unique ideas, for example, battery swap in your car, or with the really, really powerful and unique mobile integration with your phone here, as well as everything else that NIO does to lead the industry in new or different directions. But what do you think? Would you buy a phone from your car maker? Or if you're already a Xiaomi or a Huawei user, would you buy their car because you own their phone? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. So if I was in a really, really tight space in a shopping mall or something, then the car would, of course, park by itself, and I wouldn't have to ding up somebody else's car. I wouldn't have to worry about being stuck next to a pillar or a pole of some sort. So that's what this function is for. And it's really, really good. As you can see, it's working great, flawlessly. Works fast. But yeah, super remote parking. Finished, parking complete, exit. Okay, it's done. The car just turned itself off. Now I can go shopping. Look at that, pretty good spot. On the line slightly here, but it's okay. So as you can see right here, I parked next to this column. It's a very tight squeeze. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use quick actions, tap the side of the phone. I'm gonna push nearby summon, start,
and the car will pull out so I can come in very easily without anybody in the car. Okay, don't prompt again. I want to go forward. I hold that right there. Hold it down. Come on. Hold it down. There we go. Come on. Inch forward just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. And that should be more than enough for me to get inside the car. Beautiful.